Wale, with .7 left, has given Dallas the lead by 1.
Title number 4 for the Minnesota Lynx dynasty.
Welcome to ESPN's coverage of the WNBA presented by Google. We come to you this evening from the home of Bob Dylan and Prince, and on great music in Minneapolis and some great basketball as well. Arike Ogunbowale, the all-star after winning the scoring championship last year, getting ready to take on Sylvia Fowles, who's going to be going for yet another gold medal with Team USA in Tokyo later on this month. WNBA standings, Vegas and Seattle, along with Connecticut, have been atop the standings all season long. But look at Minnesota. They've won 4 in a row to get into the thick of things. Dallas just 1 game below 500. As we start this game, we welcome you, Pam Ward, along with LaChina Robinson. And boy, LaChina, so much talent on this floor. And Dallas has the always dynamic Arike Ogunbowale.
Yeah, Arike Ogunbowale is once again one of the best scorers in the WNBA. She is a bucket. She doesn't need a lot of space or time to get her shot off. She's electric in transition, explosive off the bounce, and she's shooting the 3 at a high percentage this season. And her performance on offense is starting to hit the record books. This is not bad company for fastest to 1,500 points in a career, a Hall of Famer in Cynthia Cooper, a future Hall of Famer in Simone Augustus. Arike Ogunbowale is starting to make her mark.
Boy, that is so impressive. And speaking of impressive, Sylvia Fowles, the veteran now, some injuries last year, but playing so well now, healthy this season.
Season 14 for Sylvia Fowles, 17 points per game. She's second in the league in rebounding, first in field goal percentage. But what's been most impressive about Syl this year is her defense. She is number 1 in the league in steals, 3rd in blocks. She gets deflections. She's just very disruptive and changes what you want to do on the defensive end.
And we talked about the 4-game winning streak for Minnesota, including a win over Las Vegas, and the numbers bear out that they're playing better basketball.
Yeah, Cheryl Reeves said, hey, we had to get back to playing Minnesota Lynx basketball. She feels like their offense is more balanced. They have the right players taking the right shots at the right time, and they're starting to settle into the season.
The last loss, in fact, was at Dallas. They played back-to-backers in mid-June, winning the first one, losing the second. And we are underway in Minneapolis. And right away, Sylvia Fowles kicks it out to Dantas, who has become really a mainstay in that starting lineup.
That's been one of the biggest changes for Minnesota in this win streak. She started in Atlanta and has not looked back.
See the starting lineup for Dallas. Shot off the mark by Jefferson. Charlie Collier, the number 1 overall pick in the starting lineup. You look at Minnesota, Lasia Clarendon, who was picked up off waivers from New York, has really been a steadying force for the Lynx in the point guard position.
Yeah, she's been a difference maker this season. I mean, she has been the person that's really steadied the ship for Cheryl Reeves' team, and bringing that experience at the point guard spot has meant everything to Minnesota.
And then a whistle underneath. Speaking of Charlie Collier, number 35 in white, number 1 overall pick, the rookie out of the University of Texas, has started all 3 games that now Minnesota and Dallas have met, split the first 2 down in Dallas.
Yeah, Vicki Johnson not afraid to change up her starting lineup and likes the size of Collier against Sylvia Fowles.
Satu Sabali, who is just so, versatile for this team. Taken 2nd overall in last year's draft, hit the 3, and is an ambidextrous player. She seems just as comfortable going right as left.
She is really a special player, Pam, and it's hard to believe that she's so young, only in her 2nd season in the WNBA. Her numbers are up this year. But what doesn't always stand out to people, you know, you look at a player's stats right away, you look at their points, but she's always amongst the tops on the team when it comes to assists. She's a great rebounder, excellent facilitator in an offense that really uses their 4 player to move the basketball and keep the offense going.
Kayla McBride coming over in the offseason from Vegas, gets it down low to Sylvia Fowles, who's able to hit it.
And you notice right away, Minnesota going inside. They love to attack the paint. They've been scoring a lot of points there during this win streak. They're going to put pressure at the rim on this Dallas defense.
And the outside shot nailed by Agumbawale, averaging just under 20 points per game. She will be headed to the All-Star game along with teammate Satu Sabali. They will play that on July the 14th against Team USA. Nafisa Collier and Sylvia Fowles will represent Minnesota on that team. Now Sabali with some defense underneath on Dantas. Fowles coming up with the rebound on the Jefferson miss.
You see Kayla Thornton defensively guarding Nafisa Collier. I think that's an intentional change to the lineup by Vicki Johnson, because Collier can post you up and Thornton can guard a big.
That's Kayla McBride with a little floater with her to get it in off glass. We talked to Cheryl Reeve, and she said she likes that shot, but not when she throws it up from about 15 feet away. She says that she's been working with her and really trying to impress. Speaking of impressive, it's Sabali with McBride that she's not just a three-point shooter.
Kayla McBride has been feeling it, a lot of confidence on the offensive end, and right here she's got a height advantage on Mariah Jefferson and gets that shot up right before she gets to the help defense. That's a very smart move and a floater that I think Cheryl Reeve would approve of, Pam.
Yes. Kayla McBride coming over. A lot of new faces on this Minnesota Lynx team. Collier with the putback that won't go in. Sylvia is able to get up and get another rebound. This is a Minnesota team that is missing three players that they thought they would rely on heavily, hit by the injury bug. Clarendon knocks it home. And still Minnesota winners of 4 in a row in the number 4 spot in the WNBA standing. Cheryl Reeve, year after year, no matter what puzzle pieces she has, makes it work for Minnesota, and Dantas made that look easy.
Well, right away you see one of Vicki Johnson's keys to the game. She said if we put up quick shots on one end of the floor, that's what hurts our defense. Where Dallas has been inconsistent this year is on the defensive end, but it starts with their offense and taking good shots. And Satu Sabali is taking really good shots so far to start this one.
Yeah, I would say so. Satu now 7 points. She is 3 of 4 from the floor. 7 of Dallas's 10 points. You take a look at her numbers.
And you see Minnesota trying to get Nafisa Collier in that post up. That's where this big lineup for Minnesota really helps you, if you can get her matched up with a smaller three in the paint.
That was a good double brought over on Fowles, who missed the shot. You know, Dallas is a team that can score in a hurry. Agumbawale off the rim. Comes up with another rebound for Fowles. Dallas team that averages about 86 points per game. They're third in the league in three-point percentage. One of the best offensive rebounding team in the league as well. McBride, good job, takes the contact and gets the follow home.
Yeah, came off that curl screen, ready to shoot it. And she's got the size and the ability to offensive rebound when she goes to the rim.
Inbound, took no time at all for the shot attempt. And getting it over to Fowles, who took some steps.
A good job by Dallas crowding Sylvia Fowles as soon as she caught the basketball there, making it difficult for her to get to the rim.
ESPN's coverage of the WNBA is presented by Google, official WNBA changemaker and proud advocate of women in sports. And in part by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And Gatorade. Whatever path you take to greatness, greatness starts with G.
WNBA All-Star roster has been announced, and a lot of first-timers, including Wake Forest's own De'Arica Hamby, who has made the team, along with Brianna Jones, Benijah Laney, Kalia Copper, another great story, and Arike Agumbawale, joined by Courtney Williams. They will be taking on Team USA, and that's going to be a week from tonight in Las Vegas.
I am so pumped for the All-Star game, Pam. I think it's going to be competitive. It might get a little chippy. See, what I like about the makeup of the WNBA All-Star team is there are a bunch of, I would say, players that you would call underdogs. You know, I mean, we're looking at Handy making an All-Star game. She comes off of the bench. You know, Brianna Jones is a name you hear very often. Kalia Copper has been a fighter. Benijah Laney, a fighter in this league to make a name for themselves. Courtney Williams. And I think they're going to be out to prove something.
That game will be, again, a week from tonight. Minnesota up 16-10. Sylvia Fowles is out rebounding Dallas all by herself, 5-4. Dallas has missed 6 of its last, now 7 of its last 8 shots. And that's a backcourt violation. WNBA's biggest stars are indeed gathering in Las Vegas, and you can get in on the excitement by entering the Road to the WNBA All-Star Contest. Set your lineup each night for a chance to win WNBA store gift cards and bonus cash prizes. Free money, play free through July 11th at WNBA.com/one-day.
I am looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Vegas, back to Vegas.
Vegas is always fun. Fouls working inside, and that's exactly what we anticipated from Minnesota, what Dallas anticipated as well tonight.
But you see the intention. The intentional offense by Minnesota. That's one thing that Cheryl Reeve said has changed in this 4-game win streak, is they are going to the right players at the right times and the right spaces on the floor, and she feels like it has helped their continuity a lot in their efficiency.
Is dying. And it was Cheryl Reeve said it was too much equal opportunity offense. And you want your stars, you want your scorers to get more shots, and as you mentioned, that's what's happened in the last 4 games, and they've won them all. Dantas left alone out there. Sabally able to come away with the rebound and bring it up to Dallas.
One thing that Vicki Johnson said is she wants her team to make 3 passes before they shoot. She's trying to get her young team to be a little bit more disciplined. So you see them focused in on that, and it paid off to have a little bit of patience there on the kick out to Thornton.
Absolutely did not want the quick shots, as you mentioned. Kayla Thornton, in her 6th year in the league, knocks down the shot to break that little drought for Dallas. Dantas, nice little fake to buy herself some more room.
And when Damiris Dantas is hitting outside shots, I mean, that is what makes this Minnesota Lynx offense really work. And Cheryl Reeve said, listen, there will be no more changes to our starting lineup unless we absolutely have to. Dantas is a big part of what we do. We need her to play well, and she has responded in this recent stretch.
Making her 12th start of the season, Bridget Carlton had started especially earlier in the year. Dantas giving them more size, more versatility. Now Clarendon kicks it over to McBride, just sets her feet and splashes the 3. Minnesota, just like that, up 10. Dallas has to take a timeout.
Starts on the defensive end here. Collier gets a block, and Sylvia Fowles awareness to get the ball, push it up. But Lasia Clarendon with a no-look, already 4 assists in the game. She is running the offense well for the Lynx, and they are really in a rhythm on the offensive end.
Yeah, they're on a 14-5 run now. This 10-point advantage, their largest of the night. Dallas missing 9 of their last 11. Take a look. It's a pretty good coaching staff there that Coach Reeve has assembled. Rebecca Brunson, Katie Smith, oh my goodness.
Lynette Pearson. I love both of these teams' benches, honestly, because they're former WNBA players all over the place. I mean, you mentioned the 3 assistants for Minnesota, and then on the other end of things, Vicki Johnson, obviously a former player, and she's also got Kelly Schumacher on her staff, LaCoe Willingham on her staff, and that's what you love to see. And Vicki Johnson talked to us about that today. She said, if you want to really affect the mentality of these players, they respect what the former WNBA players have done. Like, we can talk to them as though we've been there because we have, and that is impactful.
So far, Dallas down 10. Arike Ogunbowale, 3 points, just 1 of 4 from the floor. And the Lynx defense getting this crowd. There are some folks in the Target Center tonight watching their team. Just a Dangerfield. Getting over to Collier, who can't get it to fall. And we see now that Marina Mabry into the game with Alicia Gray, Ty Harris. So Coach Johnson going to her bench to try to get some things going.
Yeah, this is a little bit more of an offensive-minded group. Big shot there by Ty Harris just coming into the game, but Marina Mabry obviously wants to shoot it. Izzy Harrison has been playing very well, leading the team in scoring 2 of the last 3 games, and Alicia Gray has been on fire from the field as well, so trying to get some points on the board.
Yeah, in fact, Coach Johnson subbed them out. Mabry, Gray, Harrison, Allery, and Harris all came in for her 5 starters. And that last time out, Vicki Johnson, in her first year in charge of Dallas, did have 1 year as the head coach at San Antonio in 2017. But the very next season, they moved to Vegas, hired Bill Lambier, just a sort of a whole new facelift for that franchise. And when we talked to her, she said she didn't really look at this as a second chance for her. Obviously grateful to get it and grateful to be coaching in Dallas. But just that situation in San Antonio just wasn't meant to be once they moved to Vegas.
Yeah, a team made a move. They decided to hire who Vicki Johnson herself, said, hey, Bill's a Hall of Famer, and I had the opportunity to learn from him and to grow on that staff, and she is just so thankful to Greg Bibb for giving her this opportunity and loves Dallas and her team. And listen, we've seen some really good things from this Wings team so far this year. I mean, they're in a good spot headed into the break.
And that's one thing that Coach Johnson, who was such a great player at Louisiana Tech, was a draft pick, 12th overall in 1997 when the league first got started. And she's really excited about the way this team, she said, certainly a work in progress, but very excited about where the Dallas Wings are headed. Mabry from the outside, the Jersey girl. And that's one thing that Coach Johnson said she liked about Marina Mabry, was that she kind of had that New Jersey attitude and brought it to the court. Very confident in her shot and her ability. Mabry trying to get in the thick of things and forces the turnover.
And that's probably the aspect of Marina's game that's a little underrated, is she's physical and scrappy on defense. Not real quick, but she'll get after you.
3rd year out of Notre Dame, played her rookie year in LA, but has found a home in Dallas, and they scored the last 5 points of the quarter.
Dallas is definitely not going to go away. This is a young team with a lot of heart and pride, and hit a couple of shots, and McBride said, I got something for you on this end. You are watching ESPN's coverage of the WNBA presented by Google. I am here with Dallas Wings Satu Sabli. Satu, you guys were down 10 points early in this game. You've been able to cut it down to 5 right here before the second quarter. What do you need to do more of?
We need to be more aggressive and control Sil in the paint, and especially her seals are really powerful and strong, so we need to get that under control. And then their fast breaks. We left Dantas open like 3 times for a 3-pointer, and she can make that. So we just need to get our defense under control and get out in the fast break and run.
And I know that Coach has said that oftentimes your defensive issues stem from your offense. What do you need to do offensively to be more efficient and effective as this game goes on?
we need to get in the paint, pass it outside, get some rotation going, and then we'll have the open shots that we get and that we can make. And other than that, we need to get open on the elbows and try to be more physical in that so we have our offensive game flowing. But I think we're doing a great job. We cut it back down to 5, and we're on the right road. So just playing aggressive and playing our game and not let them determine the tempo.
Thank you, Satu. Congratulations on making WNBA All-Star.
Thank you.
And a quick timeout taken by Minnesota as it's now a 9-0 Dallas run. Welcome back to downtown Minneapolis. And yes, the 4 championship banners for the Minnesota Lynx hanging proudly from the rafters of the Target Center. But my goodness, this Dallas substitution, since Coach Johnson put in her second team, the 5-for-5 substitution, they've kept Minnesota scoreless for the last 3 minutes, and the subs have hit 4 of their 5 shots from the floor.
Yeah, coming off of that last break, Mabry hit a bucket. Izzy Harrison with some defense to offense. This group has energized the Dallas Wings and is doing really well, bringing them back in this.
Yeah, and that's what prompted Cheryl Reeve to take that very quick timeout right after the first quarter ended. Vicki Johnson electing to keep her subs in the game. Cheryl Reeve, who will be going over to Tokyo, is an assistant on Dawn Staley's staff, along with Dan Hughes, recently retired head coach of the Seattle Storm. Alicia Gray, Team Lefty.
Team Lefty, let's talk about that. Coach Vicki Johnson's a lefty, I'm a lefty. Satu Sabli counts because she can shoot with both hands. I'll take a timeout as I go to my roster.
Yeah, there's a break. There's a lot. Rachel Banham in the game for Minnesota. Got it inside the fouls. And boy, Sabli told you during that interview they wanted to clamp down on fouls, and they've done a good job of it here in the second quarter.
They're going to force Sylvia Fowles to have to pass it out. But how about Mabry? Instant offense off of the bench.
There she is, Mabry knocking it down. And Coach Johnson says that she plays with unbelievable passion and is just absolutely fearless. And she was chirping because she wanted the chance at the 4-point play.
Yeah, we asked Coach Johnson what she likes about Mabry. She said, I like the jersey in her. I like the jersey.
Coach Johnson played several years for the New York Liberty and very familiar with that part of the country. And here is Rachel Banham, part of the interchangeable parts, the moves that Cheryl Reeve as general manager has had to make because of the 3 injuries to Powers, Achanra, and Renaya Davis, signing, releasing, and re-signing players, and Banham was one of those.
This is the way you want to come back to it, is shooting with a lot of confidence from 3-point range, and she's doing that this year. A nice move there by Alicia Gray.
Yeah, Gray with her second shot. Banham missed a couple of games. Makes the second shot and misses it. Now Mabry brings it up. For this Dallas team that led by as many as 10 in the first quarter. There's some contact underneath. Dantas whistled for the foul.
And that is where Dallas's advantage is, if you ask me. I mean, you look at this lineup defensively for Minnesota, they're not going to be as fast as this young Dallas Wings group. They can really put a lot of pressure on you in your transition defense and get out and run, and they need to do that.
Alicia Gray already in her 5th year out of South Carolina, the Rookie of the Year back in 2007. Coming off the bench now. Boy, these subs, the second team, outscoring Minnesota 16-3 since they came in late in the first quarter. Really have flipped this game.
And this is what it's been. It's been a lot of their defense. The energy on the defensive end has gotten the pace up in this game and has gotten Dallas some easy buckets.
Alicia Gray with yet another basket. Dallas had no fast break points there in the first quarter, turning things around. You see Minnesota's turnovers now mounting. Clarendon Some words from Coach Reeve as she heads to the bench. Dangerfield back in.
And one thing that Vicki Johnson mentioned to us as well, as McBride hits the shot and will go to the free throw line. Take a look at this. Again, coming off of that curl, the screening action right there at the elbow by Sylvia Fowles gets McBride into her sweet spot in the mid-range, and Gray just overshot her defensive position. But the focus on McBride to finish that. But going back to my point, Pam, you know, something that Vicki Johnson said was that, listen, Minnesota's playing at home. They are tough at their place. We've got to be able to take a punch in the beginning of this game because they're going to come out strong, and we got to get back up and fight. And she mentioned earning respect. She said, we're a young team in this league. We're out for respect. We respect them, but we can't be afraid. And this second unit has come out and really set the tone for Dallas.
Yeah, boy, they certainly have. Kayla McBride now with 35 straight made field goals on the season, has the best free throw percentage in the league, and some of that quickness you were talking about.
Arike Agumbawale just getting right to the rim, and that's what she does. I mean, she is a blur getting to the rack.
Maybe from the outside, has it fall away. Allery gets it over to Alicia Gray. Cups out. Now Bridget Carlton, who also will be playing in Tokyo as a member of the Canadian Olympic team, along with Natalie Achunwa, who is hurt right now for Minnesota, but they're hopeful that she will be able to play for Canada.
Well, these Tokyo appearances are starting to add up because Alicia Gray is also going to be on our Olympic 3-on-3 team.
Yeah, quite a few Olympians in the building tonight in Minnesota for both squads. Defense that time. Cheryl Reeve applauds the effort on the shot clock violation. Yep, Cheryl Reeve will be on the bench as an assistant coach.
And I like what
Tokyo.
Cheryl Reeve said on one of her calls recently. You know, someone asked her a great question about, you know, what does she get from this experience? And, you know, even though she's a four-time head coach of the WNBA champion Minnesota Lynx, she said, I look forward to learning. You know, it's a lot of scouting. They're working with a great staff there. Beautiful move by Kayla McBride off of the bounce. But she said, I'm still learning as well, adding to my toolkit.
One of the great things about going, she can find some new things still, and that shows that she realizes that you can never stop learning and continue to grow. Gumbawale gets inside, picking up little tricks to bring back stateside to try with the Lynx.
Arike Agumbawale just makes a really nice cut off of the ball here. She's got a smaller defender in Crystal Dangerfield, so she takes her down low, right around the bucket. And something Arike has continued to get better at in her career is that, moving without the ball in her hands. Beautiful cut there by Dantes and nice delivery.
There's Dantes joining McBride in double figures for Minnesota, who pops back on top. Another outside shot. Boy, Alicia Gray has made a big difference off the bench tonight. Alicia Gray with 9 off the bench. Dantes just got it ripped out of her hands by Sabali, and then McBride fouled Agumbawale. A couple of Golden Domers getting together at midcourt. Bench points, 21 of them for Dallas. As we take a look at the upcoming TV schedule. Hey, as soon as you're done watching us tonight, the Sparks in Seattle will be playing on CBS Sports Network. Then you got Atlanta, Connecticut on Friday, that same network. And we will join you Friday at 9 Eastern Time on ESPN for the Storm and the Mercury. WNBA.com, and the WNBA app has all of your information as we are leading into the final weekend before the month-long Olympic break.
Yeah, I mean, you could hear it in the voices of the players and the coaches that everyone's really looking forward to this break. I mean, an opportunity for those that aren't playing to just recharge, to get healthy, to get some time together on the court as well. You know, once that time presents itself, probably got a couple of beach vacations planned in there. You know, these players, they go overseas right after WNBA season. So many of them don't get a real break, don't get to see family. So excited for however they'll be spending their Olympic breaks.
Another foul on the floor. That one on Gray. We've had 7 lead changes in this game, all coming in the quarter, the second quarter. And Minnesota up by 10 in the first quarter. Then the 5 subs coming in at the same time for Dallas, making the big run to give us a ball game. Aisha Gray, one of the main reasons, one of the big reasons why they were able to turn things around. 9
her
points
last 4
in 9
games.
minutes.
She is shooting lights out, 62% from the field, 69% from 3, averaging 14 points per game. And even with that stat line, Vicki Johnson said we depend on her to be a great defender, to rebound the ball offensively. She just does whatever you need her to do.
Very important cog, the best perimeter defender on this team. Savali gets it out to Thornton, who hits from the outside.
That kick out from Sabli from the middle of the floor to the wing, she's got 4 assists. And I feel like they're all for 3-point shots.
And Vicki Johnson said that Savali, in the not too distant future, is going to be an MVP candidate. She has that much talent. Boy, Collier missing from the outside. Nafisa Collier has not scored tonight. She's really struggled, particularly from the 3-point line this year.
She has only taken 2 shots in this ball game, and you got to credit the different defenders that Dallas can put on her. They tried to get her going in the low block. Dallas did a good job of disrupting that. But also they've been able to run their offense through Dantes, who was hot early, through fouls in the paint. We've seen this a time or two, Pam. Satu Sabli off of the bounce. What a pass to Thornton for the tray.
You see Sylvia Fowles leading the WNBA in steals so far this year. Yes, she can block shots, do a whole lot of things. At 6'6", she is leading the steals, not some little annoying guard. And it leads us to tonight's Did You Know, presented by Google. For today's search, we want to know who is the tallest WNBA player to ever lead the league in steals per game. Right now, Sylvia at 6'6" is doing that. Season not over yet. She would be the new leader if indeed she can hang on to that, but we'll let everybody, including LaChina Robinson, ponder that.
Oh, man.
And have the
That's a
answer
good one
for you later on.
Do I get to guess right now, or you want me to wait?
If you want to.
I mean, it's Lisa Leslie's birthday today, so first of all, happy birthday, Lisa Leslie.
Happy birthday.
So she would have been one of my guesses, but I would also say maybe Yolanda Griffith. Neither one is right? Okay.
0 for 2.
Well, there you go. So much for my WNBA history.
That's why we have Google search. Find out these things.
I Google search everything, and so does my mother now, which saves us about 20 phone calls a week.
Thank
Google
goodness for you, right?
Just ask Siri.
Oh my goodness, from the outside, Mo Jefferson gets into the act.
And this is really how Dallas beat Minnesota in their last matchup. I mean, they were lights out from 3-point range, and right now they are 8 for 16, shooting 50% from beyond the arc.
Well, Minnesota's shooting over 60% overall, but still trailing. Dallas, 18-point swing in this game. So you don't have to wait long. Here is our answer for the Google Did You Know. Who was the tallest WNBA player to lead the league in steals per game? I can't believe you didn't know this.
I should have known that. that.
She did it 3 times, LaChina.
Sancho, oh my gosh. Let me tell you this. Sancho Little is one of the most underrated. She may be top 5 all time in best defensive players in WNBA history. And I'm gonna put that out there. I mean, she was fantastic. And not only could she guard her position and switch and do all those things and shoot the gap, but she was the general, the head of the snake. She told everyone where they needed to be. And, you know, when Angel McCautry, who was coming up on halftime, at halftime wanted to get out of position on defense, it was Sancho's job to get Angel back in her place. But can you imagine on the same team, Angel McCautry, Sancho Little, Arminty Price, Harrington now? I mean, that defense in Atlanta for some of those years, I mean, they went to 3 WNBA finals. That defense was stout.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to face any of those 3, much less 3 at the same time. And you're right, we will hear from Angel McCautry making her debut for ESPN tonight. She will be in our halftime studio.
And no doubt that Angel is one of the best defensive players in the history of this league, one of the best two-way players. She and Cheryl Swoops, Tamika Catchings. Pam, I know is on your...
Catchings was the best. All-around player ever. Fisa Collier has just scored her first points of the night. That breaks a 9-0 Dallas run. How about that? Nafisa 0 for 3 from the floor. Just have a couple of blocks, but not the kind of game we're used to seeing from the former Rookie of the Year. McBride with the defense. Mabry throws up the shot. I think McBride got a hand on that one.
And before we go to break, Pam, let me clarify on Sancho. Top 5 post defenders of all time. So let me clarify on that. 4 or 5 position. You're not going to co-sign on me? Okay, that's fine.
Time running out in the first half, and just as the buzzer's about to go, the shot is nailed by Izzy Harrison. And Minnesota led by as many as 10 in this game. Dallas buoyed by a great bench performance. Outscored Minnesota by 13 in that second quarter. We invite you to stay tuned for the WNBA halftime report presented by State Farm. We'll take a first look at Maya Moore's 30 for 30 and assess the playoff contenders. And Angel McCautry in the locker room. But boy, Alicia Gray coming off the bench with 9 points for Dallas. Kayla McBride leading all scorers with a dozen for Minnesota, but the Lynx down 8 at the break. Welcome back to Minnesota. Dallas with an 8-point lead as we get ready to start the third quarter. We'll look at tonight's clutch plays brought to you by Clorox and some defense from Big D Dallas.
Yeah, we came into this game talking about the impact of Sylvia Fowles in the paint. We'll check out the Dallas wings, getting the good angle on the double team on Syl, not allowing her to get a good, clean shot there. She also didn't have a look out if she wanted to pass. The crowding by Satu Sabli, just enough to keep Sylvia Fowles off balance. She travels on that play, and right here, 3 defenders at the rim. Good hands by Mabry. Turnovers by the Minnesota Lynx, 11 of them in that first half led to 9 Dallas points. And look at the interior game of Minnesota right now. Collier and Fowles not effective in that first half. All credit to the Dallas Wings.
And between them, they average about 33 points per game, just 4 so far. And you'll notice that Nafisa Collier now has 0 points. And no, your eyes did not deceive you. She did hit 2 free throws in the third quarter, but the officials went back and ascertained that the 2 free throws should have been taken by Bridget Carlton instead of Collier. Let's go back to the play. And so Collier, the foul was called on the pass in from on Mabry, so it ends up not mattering because the Canadian Bridget Carlton was able to hit both free throws. So adding more to the headline, how about Nafisa Collier scoreless in the first half?
Well, there were two fouls happening at once because it did look like Nafisa was getting fouled by Kayla Thornton on her way across the paint. But what that did allow Nafisa Collier to do is to get to the free throw line, to get a feel for the ball going through the hole. And you hope that helps her here in the third quarter if you're a Minnesota Lynx fan.
I've been doing a lot of games for a lot of years, and I've never seen that happen before. So the halftime score is indeed 46-38. Those two free throws you just saw technically took place in the first half. And Dallas led by 10 in the first quarter, and then that second unit that they talked about in the during the halftime show came in and really turned things around.
And Bella Allery is getting the start here in the second half. I thought she did a really nice job coming off of the bench with that second unit. And Vicki Johnson said that Allery and also Charlie Collier were going to have to be trusted. Two of the younger players on the team going against a 14-year veteran in Sylvia Fowles. And I thought they both did a really nice job, but especially Bella Allery once she subbed in.
Yeah, Allery getting the start, the second-year pro out of Princeton. Charlie Collier started by Satu Sabali. Every time I watch her play, she just gets better.
And she's just getting started. That's the scary part. The number of ways she can impact the game. She had 6 assists in the first half, and that's your starting power forward.
And Sylvia Fowles finally gets another shot. She was scoreless for the last 14 and a half minutes of the first half before getting that bucket.
She got a deep seal on
6 assists. As far as 6 assists for Sabali, already a career high. Now she goes inside to score.
And that's really, to me, where she's at her best, is off of the bounce. We mentioned earlier she can shoot right and left-handed, so it's hard for the defense to anticipate how she wants to finish.
Minnesota comes right back. Kayla McBride had a good first half for Minnesota, leading them in scoring now with 14 points. And again, this Dallas team, they like to shoot quickly, score a lot of points.
See how Allery is meeting Sylvia Fowles at the top of the key there, but really nice pass and good recognition that Nafisa Collier had a smaller defender, and she did a nice job of reading the defense.
Finally, Nafisa Collier gets her first points of the night, was 0 for 3 from the floor in the first half. Averaging just under 18 points per game to lead this team, and a nice friendly role for Mariah Jefferson.
So good to see Mariah Jefferson healthy. I remember talking to Vicki Johnson leading into the WNBA draft about different moves and what she can anticipate, and that was one of the biggest question marks was her health. She's had some major knee surgeries, and Sylvia Fowles is taking it to Dallas early in the third.
Yeah, you think that might have been part of the halftime conversation with Cheryl Reeve and her staff to get Fowles some more touches down low. 4 quick points for Syl in the third quarter.
Go back to that offensive play where Nafisa Collier right here. Now she's matched up with Mariah Jefferson. She got caught with a smaller defender, but she recognizes it, the team recognizes it, and Dallas does not in time to help Jefferson, who is giving up several inches to Collier in the post.
Yeah, officially giving up 5 inches. Off the inbounds, nicely done. Jefferson finding Agumbawale. Rike now with 9 points, knocking on the door of what would be her 57th straight double-figure scoring game. Arendon with Minnesota's first miss from the floor in the third quarter.
Really
come up. Go ahead.
good defense there at the rim by Minnesota.
Sabali just making an athletic move even to catch the ball out of bounds, so the turnover gives it back to Minnesota. Satu Sabali having a conversation. She will be on the all-star team that will play Team USA, and she was part of Germany's 3-on-3 basketball team that barely missed qualifying for the Olympics. First time that we will see that sport in the Olympics this summer. Alicia Gray will be playing for the U.S.
Yeah, really excited for the 3-on-3, and congratulations to Coach Kara Lawson, our old colleague. She has been instrumental in building USA Basketball's 3-on-3 programming, and what a special time, you know, to see these women go for the gold.
Collier being guarded by Thornton, pushed away from the basket. Dantas hit a couple of those back in the first half. Buwale draws contact, no foul. Allery gets it right back to her. Rebound now by McBride. Came back to Dantas, who got double stuffed by Izzy Harrison.
What a recovery defensively by Izzy Harrison. I mean, that's a great pass by McBride, but Harrison with even better defense, avoiding the foul, good timing. Quite a play there by Harrison.
Last 4 games, Harrison has been lighting it up, 17 points per game. That was a good defensive play, and then McBride from outside.
Vicki Johnson wanted to make Kayla McBride have to take tough shots, and she's had to work, but she's up for the challenge.
2-on-1, Rachel Banham, spun and hit. One of the fan favorites. She is a native of Minnesota, went to the University of Minnesota where she was a prolific scorer. Broke Lindsay Whalen's scoring record and broke Maya Moore's three-point percentage record in Minnesota. It's a 4-point ball game though. Dallas still up. We want to remind you our next WNBA game is Friday night on ESPN and the app. How about the first place Storm taking on the Mercury? Coverage starts at 9 Eastern on ESPN, and there's some fans having some good times in the Twin Cities, and 2 of the all-time greats, no doubters for Hall of Fame, Sue and Diana. Some of the season numbers for them, they will both be on the Olympic team again as well.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible. The longevity of their careers and the friendship between the two of them. That's where the fun really happens, is, you know, on IG Live, late nights with Diana and Sue and Penny and Megan. I mean, they're giving us memories to last a lifetime. And soon, they will be those ladies that we saw at the WNBA games, retired and heckling their old coaches and old teammates.
Lisa Collier with her second bucket of the game, both coming in this quarter. So, yep, Friday night. China and I will be calling that game for you. The Storm and the Mercury. As we head towards the Olympic break, Sue and Diana going for what would be a record 5th Olympic gold medal in Tokyo. Collier working on Gray, the best defender. That's such a good matchup, and Collier's starting to come alive.
Yep, here comes
a very slow start.
Here comes Collier. I mean, taking Alicia Gray down to the post, taking her off of the drive, just being more aggressive and using that advantage.
Charlie Collier, the first overall pick, gets her first basket. Started the game today, did not start the third quarter, however, coming in for Allery. Banham a little bit short.
Oh boy, persistence by Marina Mabry.
And that we're used to seeing for Mabry, third year, second year with Dallas. Now let's go into the last huddle and listen to what Vicki Johnson had to say to her wings.
We're still in control of the game, all right? Let's finish the third quarter the right way. If we do, we will win.
Johnson, first year as the head coach with this team. Whistle underneath. Some aggressive defense on Sylvia fouls, resulting in the Charlie Collier personal. Collier coming out of school, still had 1 year of eligibility left at Texas, and then came out, and here she is as the rookie. And what you got to do, guard Sylvia fouls.
And I like what Vicki Johnson said, because she knew that Minnesota was going to come out punching out of the locker room to start the third quarter. So she knew that they were going to come out and give them their best shot, and she's just telling her team, if we can withstand this run, we'll be in good shape. Let's take this momentum into the fourth quarter, and we'll have the advantage.
These two teams did play earlier in the season. They split 2 down in Dallas in mid-June. WNBA doing that often now with back-to-back games in the same city between the same two teams to try to cut down on travel as we try to come out of this pandemic.
And I've enjoyed it. I mean, it was nice to watch those back-to-back matchups. You see Sylvia's numbers from Saturday and then tonight, but watching those back-to-back matchups and talking about adjustments, you know, it's really cool. I mean, to be having that conversation, and we're only in the first half of the season because of that back-to-back scheduling setup.
Almost like a mini playoff series. McBride missed with no black jerseys underneath to grab the rebound. Minnesota winners of 4 straight ball games. Their last loss, in fact, was to Dallas in the back end of that back-to-back mini series last month.
And I actually had Minnesota in Atlanta coming off of that loss, the win that started this 4-game win streak. And Damaris Dantes played lights out in Atlanta. I mean, that is her old team, but you know, Lasia Clarendon I thought was fantastic. Her physicality on both ends of the floor is a great matchup for teams like Atlanta, you know, that can make it a physical game and like to body you. I mean, it was just, and then Sylvia was, I mean, she's had some incredible performances this season, including a 30-point, 14 rebounds, 4 steal, 4 block game. I mean, what can she do? Might have had 4 assists too.
Yeah, a lot of 4s being thrown around there. Izzy Harrison makes both free throws to get Dallas back to the 5-point advantage. Phantom, that's a chancy pass.
And Alicia Gray does a better job there of breaking it up. She's giving up a couple inches to Collier, but she's active, really tough, and she's going to have to keep Collier from getting those easy buckets at the rim.
And the finish doesn't go in for Alicia Gray, but does draw the foul.
I'll tell you this, Pam, Alicia Gray was one of my favorite players coming into the WNBA. I mean, what she did at South Carolina, even thinking about, you know, her final season where she played a lot of the 4 spot, I think that's carried over to the WNBA, why she's such a good offensive rebounder. But she hit a bump in her second season of the WNBA, with Rookie of the Year, and then her second year was rough. And she transformed her body, really started to train extremely hard, and has put herself in position to be one of the best guards in this league, but also, you know, again, what she's going to do with USA basketball with 3-on-3. I mean, I think she's still just getting started. She's on a very talented team, but she's still, and not because she's left-handed, I know you're going to say that, but she's one of my favorite players in the WNBA.
It's an 8-1 Dallas run now after Minnesota jumped on top. Alicia Gray now 6 straight games in which she has scored in double figures. Collier able to get inside.
Nothing is stopping Collier right now.
8 points here in this third quarter after getting shut out in the first half. No call that time. Carlton gets it over to Lasia Clarendon. Inside, nice assist. That's just too easy when Sylvia gets it in that spot.
And she's been able to get in that spot more often in this third quarter.
Inside a minute to go in the third. Sylvia creeping up on another double-double. Harrison with the nice finish.
Woo.
A nice vocal expression as well. Kind of like tennis players when they hit the ball and they a little grunt. Clarendon left wide open. Collier gives him a second chance. Bridget Carlton from the outside rims out. Sylvia says it's off Charlie Collier, and the officials agree. Still going to take a seat, get a little bit extra rest as we hit the quarter break. McBride. Defense by Charlie Collier. As here looking for a foul, nothing doing. Shot clock is off. Ball taken away from Harrison.
Yeah, nice job there by Carlton and Nafisa Collier defensively.
So Collier shut out in the first half, 4 for 4 in that quarter. Sylvia hit all 3 of her shots.
Well, we came into the second half talking about Nafisa Collier and Sylvia Fowles and how they needed to get it going in the paint. Well, they've done that. Welcome back. You are watching ESPN's coverage of the WNBA presented by Google. I am here with Kayla McBride of the Minnesota Lynx. And Kayla, at the half, we were talking about your offense and how Nafisa Collier and Sylvia Fowles had not really gotten going. Well, they did that in the third quarter. What changed?
I mean, we just made an emphasis trying to get the ball inside, playing inside out. I was able to get some looks on the outside, open them up. We have to give it to our beast inside. With Sil, that opens up things for Fee, and when those two get going, everybody gets going.
You mentioned how you were hitting shots, which opened up your offense. You have 17 points. You're 7 for 10 from the field. What has Dallas given you that's allowed you to get into a rhythm?
I mean, I think it's just my teammates taking great screens, you know, allowing me to kind of play off of them, speed cut off of them. And, you know, when you have great presences like Fee and Sil on the inside, it makes it easy, you know, just trying to take what the defense gives me and open things up for them inside.
Thanks, Kayla.
Thank you,
McBride talked about getting the ball inside. Fowles and Collier combined 7 for 7 from the floor in the third quarter. 18 of Minnesota's 22 points in the third quarter came in the paint. So they made that concerted effort to feed the beasts, as she called them, and it certainly worked out, but Dallas still is leading.
And the question is, how does Dallas, as Kayla McBride gets that to go? And while we're on the subject of McBride, you know, we had the conversation with Cheryl Reeve about her three-point shooting reputation, you know, and you go back to her days at Notre Dame, and I looked at the numbers. She averaged 1 made three-pointer a game out of her 18-point-per-game average. She is more than a three-point shooter, and that's something that Cheryl Reeve has also reiterated to her. We've seen her get a number of different shots in this game, but again, I think Kayla's just got to get back into that scoring mindset, the mid-range, getting to the rim in particular, but she can do a little bit of everything.
Yes, Shepard with the rebound, gets it over to Carlton, who can't get it to go. Now McBride averaging over 2 threes per game, leading the way for this team. Best free throw shooter in the league. Needed to diversify her game even more now at Minnesota.
Like right there, off of the bounce. And that's an appropriate floater. As we talked about, we mentioned earlier, Cheryl Reeve doesn't want the floater from the elbow, the quick, I'm just trying to get rid of this shot. I mean, that's the kind of play that Kayla McBride can make as she's hitting threes and teams are forcing her off the line.
Gumbawale so frustrated that a foul wasn't called, and then she turned around and the ball was there.
I can't figure out
was called on her.
How she continued to get her own rebound with 4 Minnesota Lynx players in the paint. What a heroic effort here. And then comes back, and maybe she got Nafisa Collier on the putback.
Yes, that was the call, the offensive foul on Gumbawale. Collier really getting things going in the second half. Makes it a 1-point game. Shot clock inside 5 seconds. Sabally passes out. And as the shot clock expires, it's Kayla Thornton.
But we hadn't seen that from Satu Sabally in the second half. She got so many of those looks. And how about Laysia Clarendon in transition? Wings were not ready.
Satu Sabally with a career high 6 assists in the first half. That's for any game, and that was her first assist here of the second half that you just saw.
But then the quick transition offense there by Laysia Clarendon, inviting the contact, and that's something that Laysia does so well, is uses her body and gets herself in spaces where not only does Laysia get her teammates involved, but can get to the free throw line and can shoot a high percentage from the field because she's usually somewhere right around the cup.
Laysia converts to tie the game up at 67. Wally just blanketed it out there by McBride, had to give the ball up. Izzy Harrison, a little bit too strong. Rebound fought for, but Clarendon's able to come away with it, and now a whistle behind the play. And it must be on Bridget Carlton by her "what did I do" reaction.
Yeah, the physicality has stepped it up a notch. I'm not sure if that the trip is what they called on Carlton, but Thornton may have gotten away with it over the back before then. I'm okay with that, not calling that, but
she's not. Jill Reed not okay with that call.
I was more okay with them not calling the over the back.
Yeah, she was not okay with the kick call on Carlton, and now another whistle against the Lynx, getting this crowd here, and Coach Reed a little bit more surly as she talks to Randy Richardson.
Oh yeah, Laysia Clarendon definitely got the arm of Izzy Harrison when she went back up to that.
Dallas has missed 6 of its last 7 shots, and yet still, the game is tied. Mabry with the miss and immediately wants the ball back. And then Clarendon a little bit too physical out there on the perimeter, picks up 2 quick ones.
Yeah, that's when physicality does not help you out there by Laysia Clarendon, as he kind of got caught up there trying to make a play and get a steal and was unsuccessful.
And Coach Reed talked about the huge void, for the massive void, talking about Clarendon as Carlton can't get anything off. Collier just a little bit of room. Clarendon with the offensive board. Carlton misses again, so Minnesota continuing to get second chances. But boy, when Clarendon was signed, and Laysia Clarendon cut by New York, and then 10 days later signed by Minnesota, released a couple of times on Minnesota having to deal with some of these hardship contracts because of so many injuries, but Laysia has now been signed for the rest of the season.
Really nice job defensively there on Minnesota to keep Agumbawale out of the paint.
Carlton finally hits one. Missed her last couple. 8 points for the Canadian Olympian. Minnesota up by 3 after the Carlton triple. Now Minnesota coming back. Laysia Clarendon with some quality hustle. Bridget Carlton, 3.
ESPN's coverage of the WNBA is presented by Google, official WNBA changemaker.
Welcome back. Right before the timeout, this happened. Mabry with the ball. Clarendon reached in and see a little bit of contact and then some words. Mabry And Clarendon, a little extra stuff going on. A double technical was called, the technical on each player. No free throws, just a side out after that little action.
Yeah, that was a little jersey coming out in Mabry, extending the arm, but then Lasia would have been okay if not for that one step towards the Dallas bench after the jawing. So I'm there and agree with that call.
Minnesota up by 3.
Boy, they played really good defense on Arike Ogunbowale.
Yeah, they sure have. She's just 4 of 13 from the floor. Only 9 points for Ogunbowale. Coming off a game at New York in which she only had 12 points, missed 8 of her 12 shots, and actually was held scoreless in both the second and third quarters in that game.
And that's where Arike Ogunbowale is still growing as a player. You know, in those plays where they're walling up in the middle of the floor, she has got to find the extra defender. That time, there's no wall, just a layup.
And with that bucket, Ogunbowale into double figures for her 57th straight game. Fifth best all-time in the league.
That might be 5 fouls on Satou Sabally, as valuable as she has been in this game.
And you are correct. That is 5 personals on Sabally, who new career high 7 assists to go along with 6 boards and 12 points. Clarendon to the free throw line. So 5 fouls now on Sabally. No one else on either team has more than 3. Inside 5 minutes to go. Minnesota up by 2, trying to extend their winning streak to 5 straight games. Harrison underneath, working against Shepard, who gets the miss. Oh boy, big time contact. Collier sends Ogunbowale to the floor.
Ogunbowale trying to get through that screen, and it looked like there might have been some contact from Collier that pushed Ogunbowale into Clarendon.
However, the foul was called on Arike. That is her 3rd of the night. And now Arike Ogunbowale has picked up a technical for complaining about that foul call. Here's McBride, who's the best free throw shooter in the league.
We are told that there was a little too much conversation coming from Arike. We couldn't really tell what was happening or what was going on there, but that could be a turning point here for Dallas.
You see Vicki
Not in
Johnson.
a good way.
Yeah, correct. Vicki Johnson, her head coach, sat her down for the time being. Aggressive rebound by Alicia Gray.
Keeping in mind, Arike Ogunbowale leads the WNBA in scoring in the 4th quarter. They need her on the floor, but here goes Carlton.
Bridget Carlton, who is known more for her 3-point shooting, able to get a bucket in transition to get Minnesota a 5-point cushion. Alicia Gray just too quick, blew right by Carlton.
Yeah, really fast there. I think Carlton, after she got called for that trip foul, she's turned the corner since then. She's made an impact.
10 points off the bench for Carlton. Just 2 off her season high. Oh, that's a miss. Collier will make probably 19 times out of 20. She usually makes that shot. Harris in the game. Laid it off nicely for Harrison.
Yeah, Izzy Harrison is like a ballerina with the basketball. Her footwork, she's got counter moves. She uses her pivot foot so well. Every time she goes to the bucket, it's like she's floating.
Not a ball game for you here in Minnesota. Just a 1-point lead for the Lynx. Just over 3 minutes to go. Lynx took game one.
Got a pretty good point guard. You know what school he went to, Pam? Phoenix Suns?
Chris Paul went to the Wake Forest University. Hey, Collier and Fowles really looking like themselves in the second half, and a big reason why Minnesota down by as many as 11 in this game now lead.
Yeah, a couple things happened. I mean, I just feel like there was even more intent to get both Fowles and Collier the ball in position and deep in the paint. I also think they've had some favorable matchups, in particular Nafisa Collier, who's often been guarded by a smaller defender and maybe not as physical as what you see now with the Kayla Thornton. And, you know, the Lynx have just made sure that they've stayed involved on every possession, and they've been asking for the ball.
Well, Kayla McBride, again, another example, just that step-around shot. She's had a heck of a game, and then the answer for Ty Harris.
Well, Ty Harris has been ready off of the bench, and her minutes have started to diminish in the last few games as Vicki Johnson was cutting into the depth of her roster, but Ty Harris gets a shot, and then on the other end, in the paint, Clarendon.
Vicki Johnson going through what had been about a 7-player rotation, but subbed out her entire starting 5 to start the second quarter, and that got them the turnaround lead.
And she likes her depth. And this is a young team where everyone needs experience. I think it's hard to scout them when she's mixing up her lineups the way she has. I think they've had 8 different starting lineups this year, and she's made necessary changes when she's needed to.
Clarendon sends Harris to the line. Harris in her second year out of University of South Carolina. Sabali and Agumbawale, 2 of their great young stars, on the bench right now with their team trailing by 1. Fouls thrown away from the basket, guarded by Harrison. Shot clock into single digits. Clarendon.
That was just bad spacing on Minnesota's part. I mean, Sylvia Fowles and Nafisa Collier were getting into each other's way. They tried to run a play on a screen for Collier to cut to the block, but just too much crowding.
Harris for the lead. In and out, big rebound by Fowles. Her 9th of the night. And then Fowles slipping away from Harrison. Clarendon found her, and the foul will send Sill to the free throw line.
Yes, Clarendon does a nice job of occupying the defense. Fowles cutting to the rim. They've developed a really nice chemistry, and actually the pick and roll game between Fowles and Clarendon is one of the aspects of Minnesota's offense that Cheryl Reeves said has been better, and why they've been better as a team.
One of the many things that Clarendon has brought to this team since signing with them. Our upcoming national TV schedule coming up top of the hour on CBS Sports Network. It's the Sparks and Storm Friday, Atlanta at Connecticut, and then at 9 Eastern we will have Phoenix and Seattle on ESPN at 9 Eastern time. WNBA.com has all of the information for the upcoming schedules of all your teams.
Yeah, at halftime, Angel McCautry mentioned injuries and how she felt like that had impacted Phoenix. Well, we found out that Diana Taurasi is going to be out for the Phoenix Mercury, so she will miss another game.
Not playing tonight. Hopeful that we will get her Friday night in that game against Seattle. Timeout on the floor. Minnesota up 3. Couple. So Lynx try to run their winning streak to 5 straight games. Pam Ward and LaShawna Robinson joining you on this Wednesday evening. What has been an interesting game. Minnesota led by as many as 10, Dallas by as many as 11. And now the Lynx trying to hang on and get this win at home.
It'd be interesting to see what happens in this last minute and a half. As we mentioned, Arike Ogunbowale and Satu Sabally were on the bench for Dallas, but it looks like they will both come back in for this last minute 26. Cheryl Reeve has tinkered with her lineups quite a bit as well. I mean, we haven't seen as much of Dantes as I think we were expecting. Bridget Carlton has gotten more minutes, which moves other pieces around like Collier.
Minnesota with 5 players in double figures, led by McBride's 22, but now playing some defense. Ogunbowale indeed back in the game. And on the follow, boy, Izzy Harrison.
Consistent effort.
Got 12 off the bench. Rolling in and out, but Sylvia fouls there to clean it up for the Lynx.
And that's where the small lineup for Dallas hurts you right now. You don't have Allery or Collier on the floor. Fouls gets an easy offensive rebound and put back.
And that gives her a double-double, 10 rebounds to go along with the 15 points. A lot of contact. Michael Price doesn't call a foul, but the ball stays with Dallas. Ogunbowale might be a little shaken up. Cheryl Reeve has called the timeout for Minnesota.
Arike Ogunbowale has been upset with what she feels like is a lack of calls, and it looked like Sylvia Fowles was established. You know, that really could have gone either way, and honestly, because there was a lot of contact on that call, but Sylvia was vertical. I mean, she established herself. She was vertical on the contact. And so that really could have been a no call, or officials could have put a whistle on it as well.
Yep, and then K-Mac goes out, right? She's taking the ball out, she's probably coming off of something when she's out. Okay?
I have to go over the thing. I get
Yes.
it, yeah.
Yes.
So
You got a
protect
rebound.
the backside. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Rebound. Here we go.
So we heard Cheryl Reeve and also Katie Smith, one of the all-time greats, an assistant on this team.
We're talking some defensive strategy here, planning for Arike Ogunbowale in particular. Something that Cheryl Reeve told us was last season, in previous season, they used to be able to throw all kinds of defense at Arike and to stop her. But since everyone else is so effective offensively on this team, they've had to play her straight up in more possessions than they would like.
Shot clock winding down. The 3 to tie it, a little bit too strong. Dallas has now missed 8 straight threes and gets the foul, but that's not the person you want to foul, because Kayla McBride never seems to miss a free throw.
Well, and something you mentioned earlier today about Minnesota was equal opportunity offense, and I thought Dallas needed to be more intentional with where they were getting the basketball on that possession. Not that Thornton cannot hit that shot, but I think you got to hang your hat on trying to get Arike Ogunbowale involved or Satu Sabally in that situation.
Yeah, Thornton shooting over 40% from 3 on the season, but we've already mentioned that Arike is the best scorer in the league in the fourth quarter. Sabally also potent from the outside. And Kayla McBride now 3 for 3 from the line tonight. She's made 38 straight free throws this season, and now it's a 5-point lead. Dallas has to hurry. And an offensive foul called. I think they got, did they get Alicia Gray over there?
sure where the call is there.
Actually, we're seeing now that it was a discontinued dribble, a turnover on Mabry. So not a foul.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, ball kind of got caught up, but I thought the whistle was late. I mean, if anything, the call would have happened there. Then she kind of carried it there a little too. Yeah, she had a couple of. It looked like that carry was what caught the officials' attention, but the ball got caught up earlier in that same possession. It looked like she might have walked.
Yeah, pardon me. That was Michael Price making that call. Good call by the veteran official to call that from the sideline. And Clarendon, I'm sure, a little thrilled that Mabry turned the ball over there after they had a little jarring match earlier in this game. But Minnesota up by 5. Minnesota now down to just 1 timeout. Both teams in the bonus. Dallas with no timeouts.
So when you look at the last few possessions here, plenty of time left in this game, but down the stretch in that fourth quarter, the technical foul by Arike Gumbawale and some just not as intentional offensive possessions by Dallas down the stretch in a possession game can really hurt you.
And here she goes again. McBride back at the free throw line. Dallas just 1 more game left before the Olympic break, and it's a toughie. They will play Las Vegas at home. Minnesota will be at Vegas and at Los Angeles to close things out. First missed free throw since the end of May for Kayla McBride. Bray. Oh, Dallas just ice cold from 3 after a hot start. And the crowd at the Target Center liking what they're seeing. 5 straight wins for Minnesota. They take it 85-79. Only 14 points in that last quarter for Dallas. And Sylvia Fowles with yet another double-double, but it was K-Mac, 25 points leading the way of 5. Make that 6 Minnesota Lynx players finishing in double-figure scoring tonight. So Minnesota now 10-7 on the season. In 4th position, Dallas drops to 9-11. Minnesota shooting 51% from the floor, and they take it by the final of 85-79, trying to get some words with Sylvia Fowles. Minnesota outscoring Dallas 25-14 in that fourth quarter. K-Mac feeling good after what was a good night. A team, again, what a swing. This game unusual. Minnesota up by 10, trailed by 11, and then came back to win it.
And it's all about adjustments. And it was obvious that Minnesota went into the locker room at halftime and they wanted to get Collier going, wanted to get Sylvia Fowles going. That's impressive what they've done on this 5-game win streak, in particular on the offensive end.
And now they get the dance to celebrate. A couple players in street clothes, Natalie Achonwa and Ariel Powers. Boy, just wait till they get healthy for this Minnesota team as they win it by the final of 85-79. For LaChina Robinson and our entire crew, I'm Pam Ward as we say so long from the Twin Cities. Euro tonight coming up next. Minnesota wins by 6.